everybody. We are out this afternoon on the old Benelli TNT 135. Good old Alice. It is monsoon season here in Arizona, so the weather doesn't always lend itself real well to getting out and riding. This is our rainy season, and when it rains here, ooh man, it rains. It floods like crazy. So when I get an opportunity to go out and take a ride, I definitely like to do that. Like to get out and take advantage. Last night it rained quite a bit and it cooled things off like crazy. We were having 100, 103, 110 degree weather, and now it's like 85 degrees. I mean, that's just crazy. But it happens here in Arizona. Once that rain comes, cools things off, the sun stays under the clouds, it's kind of nice. So I usually like to get out and take a little ride. Wanted to talk a little bit about pre-ride checks. I know that it's not a very fun topic. It's not like whipping around and doing wheelies and stuff, but the pre-ride checks I think are very important. Now, I've been guilty myself of not doing them. Not, before every single ride, but I'm going to start getting in the habit of doing that. I think once you have the habit, it only takes a couple of minutes to go through and do a quick little pre-ride check. And once you've done that, well, you're all set. That couple of minutes, if that saves from having something happen during the ride or discovering something during the ride, I think that's a good thing. So the Motorcycle Safety Foundation puts out a little document, and they have a little acronym that they use to talk about the pre-ride checks, and it's called TCLOCS. It's TCLOCS. It's their little acronyms. They try and help you remember exactly what you need to do. I don't know if you've ever taken the motorcycle safety course. They probably went over that all with you, but you can also go online. I mean, they have a little PDF document that you can download and check things off and take a look at it. It's a pretty nice little document if you're not familiar with what the important pre-ride checks are. I know there's a lot of beginners that ride small bikes like this, and it's something that they should know. It's something you should be doing. So anyway, TCLOCS is what it is. So let's explain what TCLOCS is. I got a little cheat sheet down here so I could actually remember the acronym. But T is for tires and wheels. That's one thing I always do before I ride, is I check the tire pressure in my tires. It's just something that I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing, and it only takes a couple of minutes. I have a little inexpensive digital pressure reader that I keep right there next to my bike. So just before I get on it, I just pop down and check the tire pressure, make sure that it's at the proper pressure, and go from there. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, easy to do. For the Benelli, the stock tires and everything, what they recommend is 33 psi. That's the recommended tire pressure for our stock tires on the Benelli. So it's really easy. 33, check them and you're done. The other thing too is I just take a quick, while I'm down there checking them, just take a quick look to see if, like I ran over a rock or stuck a nail or a screw or something in there. I mean, I don't go over them super thorough, but just to give them a quick once over. The other thing that I do with the thing that I'm doing when I'm down there checking tire pressure is I just look over the wheels real quick. Now, I ride out on dirt roads every day. Every time I take my bike out, I'm on a dirt road, and not much of a dirt road. It's pretty short, but I do go on the dirt roads. So there's a chance that I ran over a rock, or I hit a little bit of a ditch or something like that, and it may have dinged up the wheel itself. not the tire, but the actual rims, the wheels, you know. So I give those a quick look over, you know, nothing major, just a little quick inspection to make sure that I didn't damage them. Something that's going to cause issues with the tire, you know, balance, anything like that. So the safety sheet that they have for TCLOCS actually goes into quite a bit more detail on the different things that you should inspect and take a look at with your wheels and tires, but I think the two major ones are tire pressure and just a general inspection. I mean, make sure that you got good tread, make sure there's nothing in them, make sure there's no nails, shit like that, and you'll be good to go. The next thing in the TCLOCS is the controls. The controls range from everything from your turn signals to your being able to turn the steering wheel back and forth without impeding anything, stuff like that. So I usually just, you know, I don't do the controls every single time. I do that about once a week, and it's just for, again, safety, just to make sure that nothing's going wrong. I pull in the clutch, I take a quick look at the clutch wire, make sure that there's no fraying or anything like that. Same thing on the brake side. I pull in the brake, make sure that the brake is working. I make sure that the on-off, the kill switch is working, that my brights are working, all the lights, the blinkers, the hazards, the little pass button, basically all the controls. You also want to take a look and make sure that your, you know, speedometer, neutral indicator, brights indicator, all that kind of stuff is working on your control panel. It's a real simple, quick test for you to do. I do that at least once a week. They say that should be something daily, and I can see that. You know, checking things like the brake light and the turn signals is something that you should probably do on a pretty regular basis. I mean, it'd be kind of silly and stupid to get pulled over for a turn signal not working, or, you know, something like that. But that's the C. The C is controls. The next one in the TCLOCS is the lights. Now, I kind of mentioned that with controls, the lights, but they actually break it out into a separate piece, and I get that. And obviously the lights include the turn signals, the headlight, the brake light, all of those things, the brights versus regular lights, your hazards. All of those things need to be inspected with your lights. One of the ones that a lot of people overlook when you're checking your lights is your actual license plate light. Now, some states don't require it, but the majority of them do, and that's an easy one for the, you know, cops to pull you over for. So the next part of TCLOCS is the O, and the O is for oil and other fluids. That one's pretty straightforward. Now on the Benelli, it's pretty easy to check the oil. There's a little window on the side, I'll show you a picture of it, and you just get on a flat surface, tilt your bike up, take a quick look at it, make sure the oil's at the level that it's supposed to be, through the little window, and you're good to go. But one of the other fluids that you need to make sure that you look at is your brake fluid. Again, there's a little indicator window right here that you can look at. Make sure you inspect that, make sure the brake fluid looks good. If it looks cloudy or dark or something like that, then it's, you know, then you might want to change the fluid in there. TCLOCS, and that C stands for chassis. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily have you do a chassis inspection every single time you go to ride. It's not a bad thing if you want to get in the habit of doing it. Do it, you know, go for it. But at least, you know, once a week, once a month, every other time, every third time, do it, you know, take a look at it. And what I do when I look at the chassis is, obviously, you look at the frame, you look at everything, you look at your forks, you look at your steering, you look at your handlebars, you look at all that kind of stuff to make sure that everything seems to be in good shape. But what I include in my chassis check is making sure that all of the nuts and bolts and screws and all that kind of stuff is tightened down. Most of the bolts and nuts and stuff on the Benelli, well, at least on mine, are marked. There's a white slash in there that you can tell if that bolt has been turned or not. This is not a bad thing to actually put that on there, you know. Just get yourself a little bit of white nail polish and you make a mark, right on the nut and then where it sits on whatever it's screwed into. And that way, at a just quick visual glance, you can see if that nut's starting to turn. So we are down to the last letter in TCLOCS, and that is the S. And that is for stands, namely kickstands or center stands. You want to inspect that. I mean, it would be kind of a bummer if you got to your location or got to your destination or wherever you were going and you went to put the kickstand down and, you know, set your bike down after a nice ride and the kickstand wasn't there, or it was missing a bolt, or it was bent. That would really kind of suck. One of the things about the kickstand, besides just being bolted on there, being good and functioning properly, is the kill switch. A lot of kickstands have a kill switch. I know Honda especially has a kill switch on it. So if you try and put the bike into gear with the kickstand down, it will actually prevent you from doing that. Now the Benelli does not have one of those. It does not have that nice little safety feature. So you have to be pretty aware when you're riding. If you go to ride off, make sure your kickstand's up. That's important. But that's one other thing you should check if you're going ahead and you're checking the stand. So there you have it. That is TCLOCS. But anyway, there it is. If you got questions, let me know. If you got comments, if something that I left out, something important that you do, please leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. I would greatly appreciate that too. And as always, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.